What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Dreamstar Toys Concrete Mixer Warrior, their version of a Masterpiece Scale Mixmaster done in a stylized look. This was sent to me by Brian W. Thanks for allowing me to take a look. And he's actually allowing me to hold on to these. It's been a while. I think it's been over a year that I've had this set. So I appreciate him allowing me to hold it all this time. We're close. We've got one more figure to be able to combine Devastator. This guy is a pretty cool looking version of Mixmaster. It's very unique. He's got the barrels on the back of his legs, on his calves, and the cab for the truck is very unique looking too. So it's just an all around, this whole set has been like that. Each character is a brand new take. Even the way they transform, the way they display are brand new takes. Just like the others, he's got a lot of paint, pretty much fully painted. You got gunmetal for the head, silver for the face. The eyes have been all light piped. Personally, I think that's a mistake. They should be painted metallic red. I'm okay with the translucent red for the glass on the vehicle, but eyes really have to be light piped. They do have a light up feature. I just don't have the batteries for this type of battery, so I haven't been showing it. But my personal preference is to paint the eyes and then let the light up feature show through. Metallic green, nice tampo details all throughout, accents, gold accents, red accents, silver accents, more tampos here, more red tampos there. I mean, it's really got a lot of nice detail all throughout the figure. And in vehicle mode, you'll see even more, the caution symbols, all that just really shows up very nicely. Let's go over the articulation. Head is on a ball joint, goes up to there, down to there. It does get side to side and rotates around. Shoulders are turned out in a ratchet joint. It does get caught up here, so just be careful. Also, watch out for the glass back here. You want to collide with that. Out to the side on a friction joint, up to there. It does have this piece here that kind of moves. I found that if you push it up and in, that makes it stay a little bit better. So I just push it in just a little bit so it'll hold in place. You have a rotation here at the bicep. You have a double jointed elbow, so there's a bend here and a bend here. Combining the two, you can get almost a full bend. Let's see, what if we bend the upper one first? No, it doesn't really get you any more. So definitely past 90, but not the full. Rotation at the wrist. Individuated fingers, although the bottom three are connected together, and then the top pointer finger is separate, so you can point. Thumb is on a ball joint and two hinges. So pretty well articulated hands overall. All of them have pretty much been the same. Coming down to the waist, you have side-to-side movement, which, that's not all of them have had that. But, that's probably the foot ankle joint. So you have ab crunch built in right here at the midsection. That works pretty well. And your rotation at the waist on a ratchet joint. That works pretty well too. For the legs, hip skirts will move out of the way. You do have this big one back here. That can just be removed if you want to. But the leg kicks up to there on a ratchet. Back to here, again, hindered by this. But if you remove this, which I'll show you later why you'd remove it, you can get the leg back to there and out to the side, all on friction. All on ratchets, which is nice. It's got a lot of weight down here just because the legs are pretty filled with material. There is some die cast in here. I don't think the feet are die cast, but there are some die cast parts here and there. And overall, it's a very sturdy feeling figure. For the knees, you have a single joint knee, gets you 90 degrees. More silver paint here. And for the feet, you have ankle tilts. The wheel is separate, but it does rotate due to the transformation. So you can get the wheel and the foot rotated. They don't rotate together, but they do rotate. So you can get the heel out to the side, pretty wide, which works for posing. This guy comes with some pretty fun accessories. You get this gun or blaster done in black plastic, silver paint on the ends, and then gold paint there in the middle. And it does have a slot which will tab into the hand. It sits a little high in the fingers, but it does work. So you can do that. You can also grab this piece here, and this will plug in to the front of the gun to make a longer gun, kind of like a hook. But yeah, it's pretty long. And then you can take this off. And another thing you can do is you can use this peg to attach it to the arm. And now he's got this sort of arm cannon weapon. And the last thing you can do is you can take this and remove these two pieces on the butt flap. And these will combine with this to make a hammer, which is very creative, really cool use of this accessory. This also has the slot in the handle, so you can rotate that so it's sitting in the right direction and then get it plugged into the hands. And we can, of course, wrap the fingers around and just rotate it so you have the hammer facing forward, but pretty good. It's a pretty good looking hammer. For size comparison, there he is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. Basically the same size, maybe a little bit shorter. So works again in a MP scale. All right, and there is the full team from Dreamstar Toys. We've got one more to go. We're waiting for Scavenger. We just saw pictures of it. I actually just looked at those and the TF News Live, which I just recorded. And yeah, it's a good looking team. I mean, they're very stylized, but together they're very cohesive. The color scheme, just the overall look, the stylization. It's not for me, but I definitely get it. I mean, it's a very good looking set. And yeah, one more to go and we can combine Devastator. All right, now let's get him transformed into his vehicle mode. And the transformation is kind of long. There's a lot of steps. I wouldn't say it's frustrating. It's just got a lot of steps to remember. So only if you're like making a video like I am right now and trying to remember it, it can be challenging. But if you're just doing it straightforward, I think it's actually, has some intuitive steps to it. Let's start on the arms. We'll lift up here. You want to fold out the pointer finger. This isn't in the instructions, but it ends up colliding if you don't do that. Fold down on the bottom part of the arm. Flip the hand in, and here's where the finger, it will collide with this, and it won't fold all the way flat, which will prevent you from folding this up and closing the hand inside. So you do want to get that out of the way. Same with this one. Then we're going to take the arm and open up this panel here. We'll accordion this down so it fits in there, and then you're going to tab this into the top of the arm. Lift up on this, open up this panel, and basically bring this down, slide it forward and down until you get into position where this will tab in nicely. So we have it like, I don't have it quite right there. Okay, there we go. So something like this. Just make sure it's all tabbed in. And then we can rotate this to the back. And now we'll take care of the other arm. And so do that. I'll do it off camera and be right back. All right, now that we got both arms taken care of, we can take care of the upper body. And I just want to make a note. This should be flush and flat. Shouldn't have that sticking out in order to get this tab in. We're going to pull down on the arms. And I just want you to see there's 3 tabs holding this all together. It's really quite secure. There's this one here, and then there's 2 on the inside of the chest. There's also a panel right here that we're going to end up folding down, which makes up the abs. Bring those both down. Pull forward on the chest, which is tabbed in here and here on the backpack, which will also release the backpack. The backpack is tabbed in on these 2 pegs here and here as well. All right, just leave that down like this. We'll take care of this. So bring this down. You're going to fold down these little ab pieces bring this down all the way, bring this up, and tab that in. For these arms, you're going to tab them in back here. You can see there's a little peg. Eventually, we don't do that right now because we need to take care of this. So bring this up, fold this down. We'll accordion this out of here. And actually, we can take care of this front bumper section. So fold this out, rotate it, and then tab it in on this side. Same on this. Fold this out, rotate it, and then bring it down and tab it in. We'll accordion this section out, and this will tab in on the bottom here. Then we'll take all of this. This will meet up with the front. There we go. A little trouble getting this one to go in. Okay. All right, now that we have that together, I'm going to take this, bring this to the top. Now we can peg these arms into the sides of those chest pieces. So just tab this in right here and right here. It's pretty firm. Then we can come to the front, bring this up. There we go. And bring this up, rotate this around. Just leave this up here for now. We're going to clip this green panel onto the top. And then we're going to clip this front bumper into the chest. So that's what kind of holds all that on. We can take these clips, bring these forward, and tab those in. And then we can take these side panels, which could be doors, I guess, if you wanted them to be, but that's going to tab in right there. Bring this down and tab that in there. All right, so here's how we're looking after taking care of that front cab section. Now I'll come to here. Bring this down, tab it into those two pegs, then bring this down and clip that into the back. We'll rotate this up, and let's see. I'm going to rotate this around, and we're going to open up these and just leave that there for now. This will come up, and these are just on pegs, so you can just pull them off if you need to. So it should be sitting like that. And this is now ready for receiving these. So let's start on the legs. I'll do one and we'll do the other one off camera. So first thing I'm going to do is open up this panel right here. So this is tabbed in. So pull from here and slide it over the top. We'll come to here. We can rotate this out of the way. Fold this out. Open up this panel. Flip the wheel to the other side. And bring the wheel down so it sits in the wheel well. Come to the side here, you're going to open up this panel, just leave it open like that. This will come down and peg in right here and right here. So it looks something like that. Okay. Then we will take care of this section. So we're going to lift this up on a double hinge. Accordion this out. We'll rotate this around 180 degrees. It'll end up this direction. This will sit on the back. And this will peg in right here. So bring this down. Peg that in. But wait, there's more. So we're going to open up this panel. I recommend a spudger. It's a pretty tight fit. So open that up. That'll allow you to slide the foot out and down. We're going to take this foot, we're going to rotate this up so it sits like that, and just leave this for now. This will end up here, kind of this little groove right here is going to end up holding up against this the barrel. Come to the bottom, we're going to unpeg this, unpeg the knee, and this will come to the back. And I believe this will end up right here. And eventually we'll get this up and tabbed in, but leave it down for now. All right, so this is how one side should be looking. And I'll get the other side prepared and then I'll show you how to put it all together. But, all right, now we got both legs taken care of. We can attach them together. There's several tabs along the inside as well as in the middle and then up here. So you want to get all of those tabs in. So I like to start on the bottom. Get those attached. This piece right here will also attach together. So just line those up. Get that tabbed in. And then on the top here, clip the barrel together. And again, make sure that the barrel is sitting on this clip on both sides. If it's not, you may have trouble lining it up. This will come down and line up right here and tab in. And same on the other side, make sure that lines up. There we go. And now we'll take care of this back section. So these, rotate these ladders so that they sit like this. This should be the bottom rung on both sides. This will clip up here and tab in. And then you want to make sure you get the one with the puzzle tab in first. So put this one on, then put this one on top and get it tabbed into that little ridge. All right, there is Concrete Mixer Warrior in vehicle mode. And this is a very cool looking vehicle mode. The nice red glass all the way around. Red for the headlights here. A little bit of silver paint and gunmetal on the bumper. Little tampo details kind of all throughout. I love the diamond plating on this back section here and here as well. It really ends up looking really good. Ladders here. You got the barrel. It doesn't roll. It's solid, but it does look good. Nice caution symbols on it. Overall, I really like how this ended up. It does have 8 tires. They are rubbery. It does roll on those tires. I find that at least one wheel. Okay, this side at least all 4 are rolling. This one, I end up having at least one wheel, like this one, not rotating. Not a big deal, I just mentioned. It's hard to get it perfectly aligned so that everything rolls. But either way, it's a very good looking vehicle mode. You can store the weapons on here, so we can take this longer barrel, and this will plug in right here. And just so like that. And then on this side, you can take the gun and slide that down all the way, and that'll sit on that side. And you know me, I love weapon storage. And for a size comparison, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime. It's a pretty big truck. Bigger than most MP vehicles. I do like the size. I like the nice big tires and wheels. It is a construction vehicle, so I just want to note, this is bigger than any other Mixmaster we've gotten to date. All right, now let's get it transformed into combined mode. And there is still quite a bit of work to do just to go to combined mode. Go ahead and open up these. And we're going to untab these. You can unclip this panel from here. This whole thing will lift up. You can fold these back, by the way. This whole thing will lift up. And we want to fold this down. And we can get this out of the way, rotate these, have them sit on the side like that. This will come up and sit right in here. We're going to unpeg this bottom bumper from here. This will come forward to the front, rotate it around, and then peg it back in on the front instead of on the bottom now. And now this whole thing will come up and sit right here. And this section here will swing back, and there's two pegs on this that are going into two slots. So line that up and get that tabbed in first, otherwise you'll have trouble. So get that tabbed in right there. Same on the other side. Come to this side, get that tabbed in right there. We can open this up. Open this up. And we had to do a little bit of work back here. We're going to undo these side pieces here. So open this up, flip down this panel. And same on this side, flip down that panel. These are just going to stay out like this. We got to take care of this. So for this piece, we're going to fold this back. Fold this back. You'll end up with this on the bottom. We're going to unpeg the chest piece, bring that back, and that will clip in to the sides of these two wheel pieces. This will come down and hook into here, making the heel. Same on this one. Make sure this is tabbed in here and hooked into here. These will rotate down and sit like this. You're going to take these panels up here, unpeg it from here, bring this all the way down, rotate around, and this will tab back in here. You can see there's two little pegs on the thigh going into two slots here. So line that up, peg that in. These aren't the tightest fit, by the way. They're not the best fit. And then this just sits on top. So on this side, peg that in, and that just sits on top. All right, so come to here. We're going to open up this little black retaining clip. And you don't need to undo everything. We can just pull right here to separate enough so you can get this panel up, and then you can squeeze it all back together. It should be wedged right in there as a combiner joint. Get this all squeezed back together. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now you can put that little retaining clip back on the top. And like I mentioned, these connection points for these are not the best. But this should just be sitting on top of the hip skirts. Next, we'll take care of this upper section here. And there is an option here for this barrel. I'll show you when I get there, but I prefer it different than the official transformation. Go ahead and unpeg these from each other. Unpeg it from down here. We're going to basically slide this up on the slider. Keep this tabbed in. That's going to flip around to the back. That should be tabbed in there. Fold the foot down on the back. And this will come back up and basically sit right here. And this, you can kind of do whatever you want, but I recommend you fold it in or fold it down out of the way. Right, so that's one side. Same thing on this one. There we go. And like I mentioned, these like to pop out. They don't stay very well. But fold the ladder in. And these panels are just going to stay right here. And there's one kind of final step, which, like I said, I don't think it's necessary, but you're going to take these, unclip them from here, rotate this back, and this will sit right here. And then in the instructions, it suggests you take this and open this up. I don't really understand that part. Like, I don't think this is necessary. This makes sense because it's probably going to tab into whatever's connecting up here. So I recommend you just leave this here. I think it looks better with this closed. All right, and last couple steps. You can reclose this. It's going to tab in right there. And this one right here. And on the bottom, we're going to rotate the head so it faces backwards. And then these will tab into the side. They're kind of hard to get. They honestly don't do that much, but it does sort of solidify the bottom a little bit. All right, there's combine mode. And as I say, it looks a lot like a typical Mixmaster. Right? It's got the barrel, you got the front of the cab here, although it does look like a giant, figure stepped down it and squished his toe a little bit. But it's pretty cool. I think it looks pretty neat. It does have a nice heel spur for stability. These panels don't really sit very securely back here, but the rest is pretty solid. You can see where the connector point is going to go. It's going to slide in here. These will go probably tab into the back as a guess, and then these will tab in to the side of it. Again, all a guess, but I'm not going to actually combine it until we get the last figure. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. I think it looks pretty good. If you fold these out, which sit loose, you can get the articulation from side to side. And I think this gate one pegged. So you can get this movement there. Nothing really forward and backward. If you do end up doing forward and back, you'll undo some things. So I recommend you don't try to manipulate it forward and backward. All right, for size comparison, there it is next to the Toy World Constructor version of Mixmaster. And height is about the same even to the connection point. Width, obviously a lot wider, just bulkier overall. It's a much bigger robot. So I think the combiner is going to be close to the height or maybe the same height as Constructor, but just bigger, bulkier, and overall just looking, wider in general. So final recommendations on the Dreamstar Toys Concrete Mixer Warrior. This is a pretty cool figure. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I'm going to recommend it. Overall, I think this figure performs well in robot mode, in vehicle mode, and in combined mode. It has enough cues that remind you who the character is, more so in the vehicle and combined modes than the robot modes. But it still has that Mixmaster feel. But it's unique, right? It's a very unique transformation, very unique design for this guy. And I kind of think that's cool. I think that's why people are picking this up. It's not for me personally, but I understand why people are attracted to this figure, and this set overall. One thing that I would say is the transformation from robot to vehicle mode. There are some parts that are a little bit annoying, but overall, I think it's a pretty well done design, far better than any of this aerial bots they put out. All of these have been pretty good designs, pretty well thought out and well engineered. They feel very sturdy and strong. They don't feel like they're going to break. So we've got one more to go before we can combine Devastator. I've only done the combined mode parts on their own. I haven't combined any of them, so we'll save that for the final review. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
TM Reviews. What's up, YouTube fans?